Right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Jimmy Drago. Jimmy, how are you doing, my man?
What's going on, Kev? How are you?
Doing good, man. I can't complain. And Jimmy, man, you got a fight coming up. Talk to us a little bit more about that matchup and how things are going with you.
Yeah, sure. The manager asked me if I wanted to take a fight in March, and instead of waiting around for an opportunity to pop up, stay busy. So, and it also gives me something to work towards. So every time a fight gets, contract gets proposed, and I sign it, and you start seeing the posters, man, shit's getting real, and it's all the more to keep working hard, towards this goal here.
Yeah, that's right. You're definitely one step closer. And with that being said, what do you think a win kind of does here for your career?
I think a win just keeps the momentum going for me. You know what I mean? Listen, there's a lot of good guys out there, and to say, someone's better than someone, it's really not the case for me. Like, I know what I bring to the table. I know what my skills are. I know what my work ethic's like. And that's just, another win just shows proof of that. Like, I'm here to deliver, whether it's, a finish or an entertaining fight, however it may be. I'm always trying to strive for like the next greatest thing for myself, and there's a different promotion I'm fighting for. It's on the Fight Pass. It's a step up in production, and like that's exciting for me. So it's like you're either moving forward or you're moving backward. And like with this fight coming up, I definitely feel like I'm moving forward.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. CFFC is definitely an awesome promotion out here. And with that being said, I mean, how do you think you're going to get the job done in your upcoming fight?
You know, the amount of energy I've wasted in my career trying to figure out what he's going to do, what I'm going to do. I mean, you go in there and the exact opposite always happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen. All I know is that every time I step into the gym, I'm giving 120% into every session I am. I mean, it could finish with a submission, it could finish with a knockout. You know, I really don't know. All I know is that as soon as I step in that cage and they lock that fucking door, I'm ready to die in there, and I'm going to put 150% into everything I do leading up to that, even the night of the fight, and then what's meant to happen at that point is going to happen, and like that's one of the things that bring me peace. Like right before I walk out there is like I ask myself a simple question, like, did I do everything I can to prepare for this moment? And the answer always is yes. And it just brings me like peace, like, Jim, you did your job. Now just go out there and do your thing, and that brings me a lot of peace and comfort in the sport. I can't control everything. I can only control the preparation I can leading up to it. And when I go in there, I do my best, and I trust my best.
Yeah, no, 100%. You definitely do. And with that being said, too, you mentioned on another podcast that your dad was a big inspiration to you when it comes to your fighting. I mean, talk us a little bit more about some of your favorite memories with your father.
I had an alarm go off. I miss my father a lot. He was the strongest man I've ever met. He really was. He just helped a lot of people out. He was a tough son of a bitch. And one of my biggest, I can't say regret, but one of my biggest letdowns in life is that he wasn't able to see me here perform. Um, my father was big into fighting, but before the UFC was even a thought. Um, and like I just wish he could see me out there. And man, I talk to him every day. He's strength and inspiration for me. I know he's proud, and like to keep this career moving forward. I wish he was here to see it. And I know a lot of people. Oh yeah, he sees it, Jim. But I just wish I could witness the reactions. But like that's one of the main reasons why I fight, man. Like I fight. I have an army behind me, man. You know what I mean? And he's one of the main reasons. And he always took on the man's role, provide for your family, help other people out, do the right thing in life, Jim. Be the hardest worker in the room. And I tell you, at 13, 12 years old, he was everything I wanted to be like in life. He's gone, coming up on 15 years now. I don't even realize it, and I'm still trying to emulate the guy without even trying, and without even being like conscious of it. But he's a huge motivation for me in this sport, and I know he'd be proud. If you ever met him, Kat, you would have loved him. He was just a mountain of a man.
Next question I was just going to say is on your Instagram story, you were training with Khalil Roundtree, man. What was it kind of like to train with him?
It was really cool. Like I wouldn't say like I was like putting a lot of work in with Khalil. It was more of an experience for me. I mean, you look at, I took a picture with him, man. You look at this guy's hands; it's like the size of my end table, and he was such a gentleman. And I did a round with him on Tuesday, and then we did a technical spar, and I did a round with him today. And he's just, it was more of an experience for me, man, to like be around a caliber of a fighter like that. I mean, he's one, a gentleman, but two, just he's if I were to guess, maybe 235, 240, and he moves like he's 170 pounds. Like he's so explosive. So it was a really cool experience to be training around, a top five guy in the world like that.
Oh yeah, no, his kicks are definitely nasty. I love watching Khalil fight 100%. And another thing, getting back into the your fight, who are you kind of bringing to the event to watch you fight?
Man, I have a lot of supporters, and they're like a huge reason why I also, continue this career. I have a lot of people from back home. I have a lot of local 40 iron workers supporting me. I mean, shout out to local 40. They're the strongest union workforce in the entire globe. And I have their full support. A lot of friends, a lot of family, people that I grew up with. Um, training partners. I mean, the list goes on and on. I have a ton of sponsors that have helped me out with this camp. I mean, if I sat here, I'd have to, pull out the list of who's, contributed to helping this fight camp. And like, they're the ones that make all of this possible. Really, if I didn't have them, I don't think I'd be able to, pursue this.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome that you have some great sponsors and some great people watching you. And speaking about cool people watching you, back in the days when you first started fighting, you had like 50 Cent, Jadakiss, and a bunch of other rappers watching you. Talk to us a little bit more about this underground league, man.
Yeah, so people always ask me like, how'd you get into fighting? And I really got into fighting because I had nothing else going on in life. So I remember like back in 2014 or something, my buddy showed me this Instagram profile for the BX Fight Club. And back in the day, that like they had like 30,000 followers. And like 2014, you're like, wow, 30,000 followers, like that's so much. And they're like, yeah, they're doing fights down in Hunts Point. And I was like, I'm gonna message them. I'm going. So I messaged them and I went. And my God, it was such a. I remember I had someone drop me off and they were like crying as I got out of the car, like, please do not go in there. And I'm like, I'm fucking going, And I just went in there, and that's kind of like where the talent for the sport that like came to like a realization for me. Like we always like fought growing up, we fought other people growing up and stuff, and like we were just scrappy kids. And then like once you got into the ring and like you see all these other people watching and stuff, and it's like I don't know. I just was like, all right, it's you're either gonna bend or break or shine in here, and like I did pretty well in there. Like there was no training back then. It was just like coming in off the street and fighting. And like one of the promotions they did was they'd have, artists from the area, either Brooklyn or the Bronx or Yonkers come out and they do a performance. And you know, people just fight each other there. So that's kind of like how I got introduced to, like, I guess you could say, organized fighting. It wasn't really organized, but it was in a organized setting. And I started doing good down there. And then, over the next like I'd say like 6 months to a year, I kind of just went downhill. And like once I started like straightening myself out, up a little bit and like getting my shit together, I was like, man, I wonder like how I would do if I pursued this sport with like, 100% focus. And that's kind of like how my career began. Like I stopped fucking around. I stopped like messing around with the drinking and the drugging, and I started training really hard. And I put a lot of time and energy into this. And it was kind of crazy how it happened. I had a amateur kickboxing fight like on like 2 weeks notice with no gym, and I just said, fuck it, let's do it. And I did well. And I had another one, and I had my first amateur fight, and then a year later I won my first amateur title, and then I defended it 3 times. And the year after that I turned pro. And I never forget it, man. Having my pro debut at 24 years old, and I was like, wow, this was my goal. I wanted one pro fight, and honestly, I wanted to stop after that. Like, I just wanted one pro fight, say I'm a professional athlete, and just like kind of put it to rest. And like, I can't even believe this is like my 11th pro fight coming up now. So it's like, I had one pro kickboxing fight. I'm 7-2 now. So it's like, you blink your eyes. I've been doing this my entire 20s, So it's kind of crazy how this kind of all unfolded. This was like not part of the plan here.
Yeah, no, that's definitely crazy. And with you mentioning that you only wanted to go, have one fight and then kind of retire. I mean, what did you kind of plan to do in that time?
So really what my goal was, like Like I was pretty jammed up when I first like started fighting, and then like when I got my shit together, I was like, it'd be pretty inspiring to other people if I could like, show people that, if you could go from here in life, and put your mind to something and your energy and focus and hard work, you know, like if I could be down here and then become a professional athlete, like, hey man, you like if you put your mind to something, like you could do whatever you want in life, and it doesn't have to be professional fighting. Like you want to go back to school, get a degree, you could do it. Put your mind to it. You want to get your family back in your life, put your mind to it. You could do it. You want to, get into the trades. You want to start your own business. You want to, do whatever you want to do in life. You put your mind to something, you could do it. And I kind of wanted to like I don't know. It's a little cliche, like inspire. Like that's not like the way I'm trying to like say this here. But like I just wanted to show people that like change was possible if you really wanted something bad enough. And I was just gonna continue ironworking after I was done fighting, and then I did the exact opposite. I did both for like 7 years. I had 14 fight camps while ironworking, and
Wow.
you know, over the last year, I've just been focusing on fighting. When I fought last March, my wife said to me, she said, Jim, it's either now or never. I don't think you should go back. So, I've been on leave for the last year now. And I've just been training. And I fought in March. I fought in June. I fought in September. I would have fought in December, but a guy pulled out and like right back to it in March now.
Yeah, no, you're definitely busy, man. I definitely respect the grind 100%. And there's a couple other fighters as well that kind of overcame adversity, like Jared Gordon, Andre Petrosky. I mean, what do you kind of think about their stories as well, and how they kind of overcame their struggles as well?
Yeah, I think that people like them inspire other people. Like I'll be honest, when I was out there, I didn't know who Jared was. I didn't know who Andre was. But like as you know, you get farther into this sport. Like I'm not different. Than those two. They're a little bit farther in their career than I am. But I tell you what, we probably went through the same struggle. Had the same adversities, and those two guys are examples of mind over matter. They wanted to change their lives. They did, and look where they are now, and like I said, like I'm not trying to emulate them. I'm my own person, but stories like these, they're not uncommon. There are a lot of examples out there, and those two are prime examples of turning your life around. Look where they are now. Jared Gordon was in New York City, and now he's fighting in Madison Square Garden. And those are just beacons of hope there, and that's what I strive to be. To the people around me, I strive to be a beacon of hope.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an awesome way to be, 100%. And you mentioned as well too that you were doing a little bit of like community work as well in your area. Are you still doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I always try and stay connected to the community. I teamed up with a community in Eastchester called the Care Coalition. They focus a lot on like mental health, drug addiction, alcoholism, people that deal with depression and things like that. And anything I could do to try and give back, honestly, like if you really like knew the backstory of like where I was in life and like where I am today, like the only thing that makes some sort of sense is some sort of divine intervention. And I'm so grateful to live the life that I do today. Like I really do. Like I don't have a goddamn like the problems I have today aren't real problems like they used to be. Like I used to have real fucking problems, either legal or, I was, in the hospital or, I had nowhere to go. Like those were problems. I had no job. I had no trust. I had no friends. Um, like those were problems. Like the problems I have today is like, nah, man, I gotta design my t-shirts. Oh man, I gotta do my taxes. Like just fucking stupid, tedious shit that everybody else in the world's got to do. So like if you look at where I was to where I am today, like grateful is an action word, right? Like I could say I'm grateful, but like
Yeah.
I could say I'm grateful and be full of shit. Grateful is an action word. You know what I mean? So like, how do I show I'm grateful? I try and just give back a little bit, as much as I can. You know what I mean? Even if it's the littlest thing. You know, speeches at a community event. Um, bringing someone to rehab that might be struggling, bringing a meeting into a rehab that might be struggling. There's just things like these, and this is what really fills my voids in life. Like you can't fill these voids, for me especially, with money, materialistic things, or glory or ego or any of that false god bullshit. For me, like real happiness for me today is peace of mind, a sense of purpose, undeniable work ethic, family, and I got a ton of love around me.
Yeah, no, you definitely do, man. That's definitely incredible. Some of the stuff that you're doing there, 100%. And with that being said, too, I mean, with other people that may be struggling with addiction, I mean, what kind of advice would you give them to kind of overcome this addiction?
The first thing that I had to realize when I was out there struggling with addiction was that, I wanted to change. I had to want to change for myself. I didn't have no kids. I didn't have no wife back then. Like I couldn't get sober for my kid if I had one. I couldn't get sober for my wife if I had one. I couldn't get sober for my job if I had one. I had to get sober because I knew deep down I deserved a good life. And the first thing I had to do was just get myself out of the jungles. You know what I mean? Like I had to get myself out of my environment. I checked myself into a rehab, and I stayed away, and I followed suggestions. And the three hardest words I ever had to learn was I need help. And I asked for help, and I went away and I did my time away. And when I got out, I still asked for help. It wasn't like I went away for 28 days and I was cured. And I followed suggestions of people that had been down the road I had been down. So really it's like you have to be open-minded, man, when you're facing this disease. Accept help, and also once you get the help, be open to the suggestions that people are giving you. When I got introduced to this, other side of life, people wanted the absolute best for me and they wanted nothing in return. And that was such a far-fetched idea for me to even conceive, but it's the reality of people that overcome drug addiction and alcoholism. They want nothing from you. They just want to see you get better. And they will do whatever they can in their power to see that happen. And I had to trust that. I had to trust that process. And it was a very scary thing to do. But the only other alternative was for me to fucking die. So, change or die, trust the process. These were all real things that I had to learn. And, thank God I stuck with it. People used to say, don't quit before the miracle happens. Like everyone here that's giving this a shot, man, you're the miracle. You have potential in life. You just got to get out of your way to see it, what it is.
Yeah. No, that's definitely an awesome message for sure as well too. And yeah, I definitely think that's very helpful as well. And with that being said, speaking of messages, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
I mean, I guess you could say a final message is, you get one life here. There's no do-overs at the end of this. And it doesn't have to be fighting. It could be anything that you're dealing with in life. You'd rather attack it now than look back 15 years from now and say, what if? And that's kind of the moral of my fight career. Like I like to think I'm close to the next level, maybe, maybe not. But like, how could I come this far just to come this far? And when adversity strikes, which is inevitable, I say a quick prayer that has always saved me. God did not bring me this far to drop me on my ass now. And when I say that prayer, when I'm facing that adversity, and adversity is inevitable. And it doesn't have to be a loss. It could be a breakup. It could be someone dying. It could be a job change. It could be a world pandemic. It could be anything, you know? So when I'm faced with adverse, God, you did not bring me this far to drop me on my ass now. I put my head down. I keep working hard. And I do the absolute best I can. And what's meant to happen will happen. You just got to keep doing the next right thing in life.
Yeah, well, no, that's definitely a great message as well. And again, Jimmy, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on the show. It means a lot to me. And best of luck in your upcoming bout as well too with CFFC, my man.
No problem, Kev. Thanks for having me.